YouTube has decided to not share my videos with everyone who subscribes. Please follow me on social media to stay up to date. Guillermo del Toro is creating a horror series for Netflix. This is cool news because Del Toro can do horror. He can do gothic horror. He can do fantasy horror. He can do all of these things, and I'd like to see him take that to a place where he's not going to end up getting hosed by the studio system. Because I always feel like he gets hosed, and Netflix has been very good to him. If you haven't seen Troll Hunters, it's pretty badass. Like, Troll Hunters is pretty great. Now, it says here, fresh off winning Best Picture and Best Director for his passion project, The Shape of Water, Guillermo del Toro has announced his next enterprise, a horror anthology series for Netflix titled Guillermo del Toro Presents 10 After Midnight. It's a collection of Oscar-winning filmmakers' personally curated stories, described as both equally sophisticated and horrific. Del Toro, who previously collaborated with the streaming service on Troll Hunters, is listed as a creator. He'll also write and direct certain episodes, while a team of top horror writers and new filmmakers will take over others. So, in essence, it makes sense, right? So this is kind of going back. If I'm going to sit there and throw out some some comparisons like the Twilight Zone and Rod Serling, it kind of feels like that. It kind of feels like that. Horror anthology is cool. I mean, look, Black Mirror is an anthology series. Charlie Booker writes each episode, but he doesn't direct each one. But he does plot out where things go, and he definitely brings that dark, cynical British mindset to it, and it works out well for it, and people like the anthology. Back in the day, you had Twilight Zone, you had Outer Limits, then you had the reboot of Outer Limits in the 1990s, which wasn't bad. There was a kind of an anthology series that I think it was on Showtime or something, Masters of Horror, I think that was on Showtime. That was an anthology series. We've seen these kind of things, happen every once in a blue moon, and some work and some don't, but Black Mirror clearly works, and I think that that's going to be a key indicator here, except for dealing with the dark side of technology and where it can take humanity in very messed up ways. We're going into dark horror, which I think Guillermo can bring to the table. Now, it says here, 10 After Midnight is a dream come true for Del Toro. One of his favorite shows and biggest inspirations is fellow horror and anthology series Night Gallery, an episode of which scared him so much he literally just peed like a hose. Night Gallery was good. I did overlook that one too. Winning an Oscar hasn't slowed him down one bit. On top of Midnight, Del Toro is co-writing and directing the Nightmare Alley remake, producing Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark, based on the kids' book of the same name. And he also signed a deal with DreamWorks, which is good for fans of his Tales of Arcadia series, which that's the Troll Hunters one. They're finishing up Troll Hunters with season 3. That's going to kind of round out the story for the main team. And then he's got 2 other shows set in that same world that they're currently making for Netflix, because that's, again, where things are just going these days. People happen to like these types of things. Here's the thing, though. He's working on the Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark, which is cool because that was one of my favorite book series as a kid. I remember just going to my elementary school library and reading it during study time and whatever. This is back in the 90s. They had these books inside the library. You could go and read the kind of scary stories that you wouldn't want to tell yourself while trying to go to sleep. It was totally fine to put into a school library, but Heather Has Two Mommies was a huge no-no for Oregon back in 1991. So you've got that, and that's serious. I'm not even making that up. So I'd like to see that told as an anthology series more so than being a film. That would work as a show. But here's a bit of a concern. Del Toro, while he's good on his own, sometimes he attaches his name to projects that I think he does it just as a way for these movies to get out there. Back in the day, there was Splice, that movie that he came on as a producer to, that was not very good. There was that one about the not the people under the stairs. That was obviously Wes Craven, but there was the one. It was the teeth creatures or whatever that he produced wasn't very good. I think sometimes Guillermo, he wants to help out filmmakers, so he'll kind of attach his name to their projects as a producer and use it as a way to sell it to distributors. but they're ultimately not very good. But this is an anthology series, like an anthology show, not feature films, which could actually work out better. If he's trying to find a way to farm new talent and find out if people can actually hack it inside of the industry writing horror, then writing something that is 45 minutes to an hour long and nailing it is a lot better than writing something that is an hour and a half to 2 hours long and not being able to tell the complete story. So, you know, anthology, I think, is going to be good for him. It's going to be good for new talent, and I am really hoping that we get to see some cool, crazy shit coming out of it when it happens, because you know Netflix is going to support it, right? Netflix is going to be like, oh, you are the best director winner, you are the best picture winner. What do you want? Here's a blank check. Just go do your thing. But like I said, if Guillermo ends up putting his name on something, it has the tendency of being hit or miss in terms of from a producer standpoint. But if he is directly involved in it, I think it has a better shot of actually nailing what he wants it to nail, and I think that's okay, and I think that's going to be a lot of fun.